Hi everyone, Dogmatic71 here, and welcome to Dogmatic DIY. Today, I'm going to make a desk. In my previous video, you saw I made two cabinets, and I'm going to make this desk to fit in between the two cabinets. So let's get started. Okay, so as you can see, I have about 59.5 inches between the two cabinets on the wall there. So what I'm going to do here is make kind of what do you want to call it? Almost like a half moon, but it's kind of like concave to the point, because this is where my cabinet is, and that's where my cabinet is. But having a 16-inch desk would be pretty small, right? Considering you got 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and it's not much more other room in it. So what I did is, this is some half-inch sanded plywood. What I'm going to do is, I bought a 4x8 sheet. The width here and the thickest part is 24, so I had them kind of cut this in half, or well, to make sure one end was 24, right? And then obviously you have the saw blade, so the other one's going to be just shy. So what I did here is, as you can see, is it's rounded. So I'll show you what I did here. Let me grab the piece here. So if you remember, the back of my cabinets, I did 1/4 inch. Well, one thing good about 1/4 inch is it bends easy. So what I did is, you can see the screw holes here, is I put a small piece of wood in there, since I didn't have a piece long enough. So I put a small little 2x4, or even 3/4 inch, something like that there. Because here you can have it, you can sand it to get the different. So what I did is that, and let's see if I can set my phone down to kind of show you how it bends around. So what I did is, okay, for this end I measured out my 16 inches, and then I had it all sit on top of 2x4s or 2x6s, the 1.5 inch, so it's sitting above the table. But then what I did is, as you can see, some screw holes, is I would put it there and put a screw right in here, right? And then I put a screw right at this edge too. So what I could do is, I can bend this 1/4 inch. I would sit it behind the screw on each end, and then pull it till I hit my 24 inch here, and then I can do a line. So I'm going to see if I can set this phone down, kind of give you an example, at least if it with half of it, if not all of it. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. So what I would do is, there would be a screw right here at the end, and that would sit there, and then see how easy that bends. So it would sit there, and then I would have the other piece screwed on to here, right? And it would hold it in place, and then I have the other one. So it would make a nice smooth circle. And as you can see, if I go on the ends, pretty good. It's not, obviously not perfect, but what you can do is, once you've set this down, you can use your pencil and draw a line. So what I tried to do is, I tried not to use my jig and cut right on the line. I tried to leave myself about an eighth of an inch. That way I can take my sander and sand this till it hits the line, right? To make it as as perfect as possible. Now what I'm going to do is, because what I did to strengthen it up, I'll show you. Hopefully you saw that. I'll have to take a look. Is the other half-inch plywood is here. So I cut, as you can see underneath here, is I cut about a 3-inch, 3.5-inch wide strip. And I put it there, the back, and I put it at the front here. That'll make it stronger, so it won't bow. Like if I just left a 1/2 inch here, you'd eventually bow in the middle, because I can't have a leg in the middle, because that's where you're going to sit. But as you can see, I did a leg in the middle here at this end, leg in the middle at that end, and at that end, and then I did 2 at the front. Okay, now I did pocket holes, so it kind of hides. But what I'm going to do on this side, on the right side, is I'm going to make it kind of almost like 2 shelves here to put your paper or whatever. So I will kind of use what I had left from the tables, is almost like a 16 by almost 16 by 16 pieces here of sanded plywood, and then I'll make them for the shelves down on this side. Now, as you can see, I had some leftover feet from the cabinets as well. A nice thing on Amazon here, got a whole bag full of them, and these ones here have threads for about 1 inch, so you can go up and down, make your desk level. They have 1 inch worth of thread, so you can go up and down. So that way, if one of the legs is not exactly the same as the other, then once I get it in the room, I can adjust the legs. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a shelf above. If you remember, my cabinets were 48 inches high. So that's another good thing about the feet, is I'm going to put this shelf, it's going to be an 8-inch wide shelf atop the desk here, and then that's going to be perfectly level with the top of the cabinets, so I can adjust the feet as well to match the cabinets, so it all looks almost like one piece. So also what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a strip of 1/2 inch here, but I'm not going to make it this whole 7-inch wide or 6-inch wide, because there may be a small little gap between here and the cabinet, right? And in the back, I don't want pencils to fall off the back, so I'm not going to attach those pieces on here until I get the desk in place, just because I want to remove the gap. So instead of me putting it right at the edge here, I can kind of offset a little bit, so it looks like it's a one piece with the 2 cabinets and the desk. Also, to kind of hide this, the double, I have some old pieces of trim here, and it's thin, so it's easy bendable, right? So I'm going to bend that around this as well, glue it and nail it in with my brad nailer. And I'm going to use was that special walnut, I believe. When I grab that stain, I'll take a look what it is and do that. So I'm going to kind of give you some I'll give you some measurements here. So the top of the desk is 30 inches. As you can see, I have 29 here. My legs are going to be 29 because, well, actually, I changed the legs to 28.5 just so I can put the little feet on there. So, but it's 30 to the top of the desk, right? So then I'm going to go 18 to the top of the shelf. So this here, I'm going to make it fit those pieces. The shelves I was telling you was 16. So it's almost like 16 to the back here, here to here, by 16. So what I'll do is I'm going to take some pieces of 2x4 and make a little platform for the bottom there, and then I'll run a piece of plywood. As you can see, I still have, so I need to finish these projects because look at the mess here I made. I have a couple pieces of plywood still, the sanded pine, that I can do and make a wall along the sides here for the shelves. So let me start making these shelves and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm going to give you an update. Trying to remember the last time I talked to you, I was going to work on the shelves. So what I did is I took the pine and I covered the 2x4s. As you can see, there's 2x4s on that side still exposed. I covered it with this side, the 2x4s, and the front. So then I can sand it and stain it so it all looks like pine. And then I covered the 2x4 here, put a shelf, then went 10 inches from the top, put another shelf, and then did another piece of pine on this side, and then covered the edge of pine with a small 3/4 inch thick piece of pine here. So I'm still going to put some pine over there. My dog's barking. But also what I took is a piece of trim, an inch trim here, and you can see it's inch wide. And then what I did is I started at one end and I used my brad nailer and slowly went to the middle. So I went there, and then I should retract a little bit. I wanted it in the middle. I let it overhang on both sides. So I nailed in the middle, and then I started working my way to this end, and then work my way to that end, and then I just, took your, you can take, if you got a flat handsaw, I got a little thing here, where is it? Like that, something like that. You can even use the jig too, because you're just following a straight line, right? You're just going to continue this, so this angle is kept, right? That straight is kept. And then I filled in the little spots. As you can see, I actually did a pretty good job with how I used the jig to cut that curve. And then I just took some wood filler. Now, this wood filler is the same walnut as I'm going to stain this, so that's good. So I filled it in, and right now I'm going to sand this down before I stain it. So I'm going to use, what am I using first? What grit am I using here? 880 first. And then I'm going to go higher so it gets finer and it'll get a little more smooth. But I like the grain on this, because once I put the stain on, before I put the urethane on, the top coat, the clear coat on it, you do a light sanding, and the grains will pop more when you do a light sanding on it, right? Because if I just put the stain on and then the clear coat, it's much darker. I noticed that you don't see some of the white, almost like white, what do you call it, grains on it. They don't pop as much, but when you do sand it before you put your clear coat on it, they pop much more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand this. I haven't decided. I did have a piece of pine covering this, but you can still see the 2x4s on the inside. So I do have a piece of pine plywood there. Maybe I'm going to at least put it there. I won't worry about the back as much, but at least if I did the side and cover the 2x4 there, you won't see it. And then once the chair is in, you're not going to really see the back as much. So I might do that. So I'm going to go and start sanding and decide if I'm going to do that pine. What I did do though is, here's my shelf. You can see that? That's the shelf that's going to sit above here, 18 inches above. I'm gonna put it up about 18 inches and then have this 8-inch shelf sit above it. So I'm gonna end up having to stain that and sand that as well. I put a little backer, a piece of backing on it. What that did is not only does it strengthen this board, but it had a little bit of a wave to it. So by putting that little piece here on there, that helped. It's 3/4 inch. So that made flatten that out. So what I'm gonna do is let me sand this. Oh, another thing I forgot is I had another small piece of trim here. It's just like almost like a 1/4 round. See? So you don't see. Here, let me see. You don't see all the pieces glued in as much when you have that 1/4 round. So I did that. I put that 1/4 round on it, and then I'll sand that kind of like what I did with here. Is I put that piece of trim that covers all those layers of the plywood, and now it looks much neater, and I think it'll turn out really nice once I stain it all together. Whether this is pine or not, this trim, once I sand it down and stain it, it'll still come up nice. You don't really need to see too much of the grain just on the trim pieces, right? Everybody's going to be staring at the desktop. So let me start sanding and getting final prep for staining, and I'll come back. Okay, so I'll give you a little update here. It's all sanded down. This is all sanded. I took the middle shelf out for now until I stain it to give me more room. And I covered that up. Like, you won't see the back too much. And once I put it in its spot, if I don't like the way it looks there, if I can see it, I do have some of the 1/4 inch backing that I did for the shelves. I also did the shelf here. I put the wood filler in, and the 1/4 round, sanded everything down. So that's all ready to go as well. So I'm going to stain it, and then I'll come back. So what I did is after I stained it, you put a coat of stain on. So here's a special walnut. That's what I'm using here. And you can kind of see the difference. See how the grains there? I just put the coat of stain on here. So what I did is you put it on, and then you wipe it the excess off the rag. And then once it's dry, you do a light sanding on it, and you'll be able to see that the light spots here will actually get lighter. See how much lighter they get when you do a light sanding on it? The darks stay dark. So it turns out really nice where you get a nice grain in it. So as you can see the grains in it, especially when you do a light sanding on it, it lightens up the light parts even more, so they define even better. So once this dries, I'll do a light sanding on that. As you can see, so there's some nice grains on that too. And then I'll put urethane on that like this. So I want to put a couple coats on here so it protects it better. But like this front and the sides and the shells, I'm not as worried about. But I put at least one coat on everything. But I'll put a few coats on this and see how it looks. But I don't think it'll get any shinier. It might just get a thicker coat of polyurethane on it. More or less just a protective layer, since this will be where all the stuff gets used. Is I will come back once I put this in place and I start putting the shelf up. Okay, so here is the final product. Okay, so I'll try to back out here. These are the two shelves cupboards or whatever cabinets I made, and there's the desk all inside from one wall to the other here. So this was on the previous video. I did these two. Here's the desk. As you can see, it's finished. Here's, I told you I did the little shelf here above. I put here, I pocket screwed, did pocket holes here on both sides. Same with this back piece, so pencils and stuff don't fall behind. I'll put that up and use pocket screws and pocket holes for that. And then I showed you I did little feet. Let me get underneath here. You see those little feet? Adjustable feet? I have them on the cabinets and the desk here. So I can adjust that so it's almost perfectly level with the top of the cabinet. So it's nice. So everything looks like one height there. But as you can see, everything's got polyurethane on it now. And it turned out really nice, right? So I got the shelves all in there. Cabinets all have the stuff for storage. Now we just gotta fill them in and we're all good to go. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified when I post another video. And we'll talk to you later.